I've banged my head. Has anybody got a plaster? I've banged my head.
My name is Lee Tedder. I've served in the British military in my younger years. I have over 20 years training experience for myself. I've been working in the fitness industry for over 10 years where I own 2 gyms and coach people. My next mission is now to help more people through the knowledge and experience that I've gained through my own training and in business. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm here on a mission to help you develop in 3 areas: fitness, mindset and lifestyle. On this video today I'm going to talk about my experience from working in a warehouse when I was younger. Is it really that bad? Or any other type of job that may be seen as an average job, construction worker, bin man, shopkeeper, anything like that. How you can learn from these still if you find yourself working. Again, I'll start with a funny story. So when I used to work in a warehouse, it was for Carlsberg UK. So we was on more like the logistics, distribution side of things. I used to work night shift, so our job was to load the wagons up, ready for the draymen, the drivers coming in at 6 a.m. the next day. So when you was loading the wagons up, kegs of beer were going in, cardboard boxes with bottles of beer and ale were going in. There's one guy in our shift, he was a southerner. He used to drink on shift. So what used to happen was you'd be loading a cardboard box in of beers. Sometimes you used to drop it or you crack with it on a keg, something like that. So when this happened, obviously it was wastage. It was meant to go off then into the wastage department. But what he used to do, as soon as one cracked, he'd get a couple of bottles out, he'd drink one, save one, drink it again in the back of the wagon where there were no cameras so nobody could see him. So anyway, one shift he'd had one too many. He was coming to 6 a.m. the next day where the drivers or the next shift were starting to come in. He just loaded his last wagon up. Now what you used to do when you load the last wagon up, you used to jump off the dock where you loaded it from, 5-6 foot drop, shut the tail lift door up on the wagon, ready for the driver. So he jumped off the dock, again because he's a bit tipsy, he's stumbled, he's banged his head on the wagon, he's cut his head open here, he's gone stumbling into the office. I've banged my head. Has anybody got a plaster? I've banged my head. Now obviously the managers have seen him a little bit in this state. Now what they used to have in the office was a breathalyzer as well. Now this was mainly for the day shift, the drivers coming in. If any day shift managers saw a driver who they maybe suspected drinking maybe night before, again they looked worse for wear, they breathalyze them and obviously you're not driving. So a daytime shift manager has seen him, he said, have you been drinking? No, I've not been drinking, I've just cut my head working. But obviously you can tell he has, he probably stinks of it as well. He's breathalyzed him, job's gone, out the door, see you later. So this is a big difference that I noticed from being in the army to Civvy Street as well. If you did something like this in the army, you either number 1, get a good rollicking, number 2, get filled in, but at least you keep your job. You make a mistake like that in Civvy Street or a Civvy job, you're gone out the door, no questions asked. Okay, so lessons learned from working in a warehouse, my experience. First of all, there's a good set of lads there when I worked there, which made it a good time. I had lads I worked with who were from school my year, so obviously we all got on. We had another good set of lads working there as well. We all got on good together. We had a good laugh on shift. We used to go out together at the weekends, drinking, stuff like that. So it was a good time working there for that reason too. Number 1 lesson that I learned though was the difference a good or a bad manager can make. I was in the army, I didn't really realise how good leaders were until I started working at Carlsberg. Don't get me wrong, there was bad leaders, bad managers in the army as well, but I really noticed working at Carlsberg how a good manager can get the shift morale up, working all together, working in a good positive way, and how a bad manager can do the opposite effect really. So this is something what I took interest in and I've tried to use myself. Lesson number 2 I noticed was people's attitude in work, and how working in a job like this is totally different to the army. So for example, I'd have a busy night at Carlsberg, a bit more work than usual. People used to moan about it. I can't do that, I can't do this because of it. I'm not working that because we can only do this. Well, I'm not going to get that done because he's not doing that done. Instead of just getting on with it. That was a difference I noticed in the army. You had no choice in the army basically. You'd work for 24 hours, you'd work for a week straight if you needed to in the army, but you get the job done at the end of it. So people's attitude when I was working with this, I noticed wasn't that good in them tough situations, whereas I was just happy to roll my sleeves up and crack on. That was just in me from the army, I suppose. Another characteristic I noticed in people is taking pride in your work. Now, it doesn't matter if you've just got a cleaning job, you decorate somebody's house, you work in a bank, Take pride in whatever job you do. When you was loading these wagons up at Carlsberg, there wasn't just a case of loading it on, shoving it all on. You had to do it in a methodical way, so it was easier for the driver and the drayman the next day to unload the wagon. Now, some people didn't care, didn't take pride in the work. They load it on bad, messy mistakes, or so the driver would see that then the next day and complain about it. But on the other hand, I used to take my time, I used to take pride, used to sign your sheet that you loaded it. So I wanted people to know that if it was loaded by me, it would hopefully be a good job, or at least to the best of my ability. And again, the drivers used to notice this as well. If your wagon was loaded good, it was easier for them to unload the next day when they was out delivering. They'd tell your shift manager, wagon number 21, tell him thanks for that last night, it was loaded really well. That'll come back to you then. And again, it makes you feel good, but it gives you that pride in your job that you're doing it well. Lesson number 3, now this is the most valuable lesson I learned, or that you can learn as well from working a job like this. Working a job like this, it gives you time to think for yourself and discover what interests you, what your passions may be. As I've mentioned before, growing up, going in through school, you've got parents, you've got teaching in your ear, this is a good job, why don't you do this, go to college, go to university, do this, do that. It may not be the right path for you, but again, you don't have the time when you're younger to discover it for yourself. Similar in the army, the army kind of forces you to create a certain mindset where you don't really think for yourself. You've got to have that army thinking drilled into you. So when you're working in a job like this, yes, you've got to do job A, B, C, you've got to learn how to do it in that order if you like, and you get your paycheck at the end of the month, but then that's it. You've got no one telling you to maybe think about this, do this. It gives you time to reflect, it gives you time to discover what your passions are, and you may find yourself outside of work hours then, studying certain things, watching certain things on YouTube, discovering certain activities that you're doing. This can then reveal your passions, what you're interested in and what you enjoy doing without any external influence. So working in a warehouse or that type of job, is it that bad? No, not at all. You can actually learn some very valuable lessons from it. Would I want to do it for the rest of my life? Not for me personally, but again, there's nothing wrong if you do. So obviously when I worked at Carlsberg, I took the decision after a few years working there to pursue my dream, pursue my goals, to become a personal trainer and to have my own gym, which I've achieved. So this is what I want to help people believe now. You can use your experiences. If you've got a goal or you've got a dream that you believe in, you can make it happen, trust me. My advice to younger people would be, if you find yourself working a job like this, it is definitely not all doom and gloom. Use the time wisely. So if you've left school without any good grades, you don't want to go to university, you don't want to study at college, use the time, as I've said, to discover what interests you, without anybody telling you what should interest you. So you find yourself learning about certain things that can then create a passion. You may get an idea then that you can make that a reality work-wise. For example, it could be a plumber, you could want a dog grooming business, anything like that. You can make it happen. So what I would do, I'd use that time to reflect, discover what you enjoy. If you're younger, you're living at home, you're not paying rent, don't go wasting your full wage on designer clothes, stuff like that. Save your money up. You can then invest that then after 2-3 years of saving. You can have a good chunk by then as well into a business or to working for yourself. So for example, you want to be a plumber, work at a job like that for 2 to 3 years, get money in the bank, you can pay them for your course, you can pay for your works van, your tools, get yourself away on your plumbing job. Dog grooming, I don't know why that came into my head, but it did. But for example, little business, dog grooming, you can again use that money then you've saved up to start that business. Get the kitting you need for your business, save up for a deposit for the unit that you may need to rent, the shop you need to rent, and then have some money in the bank then for your rent, because as starting a business, there's no guarantee of custom, but at least you've got a bit of a bank in there that you can rely on with money you've saved from that job. And again, lessons you can learn from that job experience then, good and bad management styles, you can take that with you in the future and develop your own set of leadership skills, your own attitude and pride in work. Again, take that into the future. If you're decorating someone's bathroom, do it with pride, do it with a good attitude, do the job to the best of your ability. Thanks for watching this video, and I hope you learned something from it. That's why I'm doing these type of videos at the start. I want you to understand more about me, the job experiences, the experiences that I've had in the past, what have led me to running my own business today. And if you've got a dream, it's worth taking a shot on it, at least just once in life. So by sharing my experiences and my stories, I'm hoping to develop that belief in you, maybe give you ideas, give you lessons that you can take forward in the future to go after your own dreams as well. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and until next time, over and out.